tutorial we're going to have a look at using the gradient tool in Adobe Photoshop. And if you are new to Photoshop, there's probably a bunch of things we need to go through, but let's jump in and have a look at this one. So I've got this project here called Gradient One, and it's in my downloads currently. And if you want to open something in Photoshop, a couple of ways of doing it. One is you can right click, open with, or similar in Windows, and then find Adobe Photoshop. You may need to go to other and find it, but for me it's right there. The other way of doing it is to drag and drop it into your Photoshop document, and that should open that up straight away there. And here it is. If we have a look over my layers panel, I'm just going to hit my reset window, workspace, essentials, and reset. So I do tend to move things around, so I like to get it back to what hopefully you'll see when you open up. So let's zoom in on this object. If you do want to have a full screen view of this, fitting the maximum amount on your screen, if you hit Command or Control on a PC and the letter and the number 0, it will actually fit everything to screen. Alternately, of course, you can zoom in by going Command or Control minus or plus to zoom in, and if you are zoomed in, you can hit the space bar and move it around. So I'm going to hit Command 0, get that back to there. Now this is a fairly low resolution image. I usually start by suggesting students or people trying to learn Photoshop to have a look at this resolution of your image before you get too deep into it, and you can do this by going to image and image size, and this will open up here, and we can see that this one is 17.64 by 76.4 centimeters. It's only kicking about 72 pixels per inch, and you can actually change this over to pixels, for example, and you can see it's only 500 by 500 pixels, so it's not a high resolution image by any means. And if you hit Z for zoom, you can see I can zoom in, and you can see it's pretty low res, but for this exercise it's fine. So we're going to jump over to our gradient tool. Now if you can't find the gradient tool, it may be hidden under the paint bucket tool. They share the same space in the toolbar. The shortcut is G, gradient tool G. If you can remember that, it's really good. And of course, if you do happen to press G and it goes to the paint bucket, you can hit Shift and the letter G, and it will cycle through those. You can see I'm actually cycling through those now. As with a lot of tools, if you are in Photoshop, if you do hover over those, little video will come up explaining how to use them briefly, but as you switch through these, you'll know that we've got an options panel up the top here, which will give you some methods of using this. And straight away, if we have a look at this, it is set to gradient. There's also an option for classic gradient. Now I know classic gradient fairly well. I am trying to get into the regular gradient tool. It is a little bit more technical, but hey, let's go with it. Let's see if we can figure out how this sucker works. Next to that is the colors that you're going to use. So if you actually click on this drop down here, or in fact even in this bar here, you'll see some options. So the basics are typically white to black. You also have this one here, which is your foreground and background color. And if you're unsure what your foreground and background color are these two colors down here in your toolbar. Now you can change these by clicking on them, and you can change them to whatever color you like. So, but I'm going to ignore that now. I'm going to go back to just black and white because we can change it later, which is really cool. Next to that is the type of gradient we're going to add. So if you click on, just hover over these, you can see linear, radial, we've got angle, reflected, and diamond. We've also got some options for reverse. I'm going to turn that off for now, and did that, and a few other options for methods in here as well. So I'm going to leave this as the default for the current version 2025, and let's see what we can do. So I'm going to just start with the stock standard option here, and I'm going to click and drag, and you can see I actually drag out a gradient, and if I click on or off that, you can see I can change. And this is going to be how far I drag is how far it's going to take from going from black to white and which direction. So you can kind of see how this is working. But our first challenge is actually that it's now just created a new layer over our background or our image layer, and it's gone, great, I'm just dumping that over everything, and we don't want that. We want to create a usable image here. So I'm going to delete that. You can drag that down to the trash icon here. In my case, I'm just going to hit backspace and delete. So what we actually need to do here is select the area that the lasso tool is going to apply itself to. And Photoshop's got dozens and dozens of ways of selecting things. I'm going to suggest for this particular image that we use the magic wand tool. And the shortcut for this is W. Again, if you can't find it straight away, it's only about the fourth from the top on your toolbar. If it, for default example, is under the magic wand tool, object selection tool, you can't find it, again hit W and just keep hitting Shift W until you see that magic wand tool appear. And of course, as you select each tool, the option panel is going to change. So there it is there. So as a quick look at this, what we're going to have a look at is some options here. Anti-aliasing, I'm going to leave that ticked on. We'll discuss anti-aliasing a little bit later. Contiguous is a really important one, and sample or layers is also a potentially useful one. So let's have a look at contiguous just for this one here. So if contiguous is ticked on, and I select in this white area, for example, I'm going to click in there, you'll notice that my selection area, or the marching ants, have continued until they've hit a border, which is this area here. Now, to get really finicky, which I don't want to do right now, you can adjust this. So I'm just going to hit Command D, hit W again, by adjusting the tolerance. But the tolerance, I think, from default is about 32, so I'm going to leave that as is, and we're just going to use this as prescribed. So, we're not going to get too far in the details. So, W, click in the area that you want to select, and if you happen to have contiguous ticked off, it's going to ignore any borders and it's going to select everything of the same color. So if you actually look carefully, you can see it's selected every white area within that particular range. And if I then go to my paint bucket, you can see it's kind of doing that. So that's not what I want, so I'm going to hit Command Z, Control Z, and I'm going to deselect that again. So I'm going to go to Select, Deselect, or Control or Command D on a Mac. So deselect. Alright, let's do this properly. W, awesome. Wand tool, check. Anti-alias on. Contiguous, on. Brilliant. Sample layers, at this point, doesn't really matter, but we've got the back layer selected. Alright, so I'm going to click in this area here. I'm going to hit G, or go to my gradient tool here. I'm going to select a gradient type that I like. It could be something like that. Choose the direction. Figure out your light direction as well. It could be reflected like that, and this is going to be where we're going to hit our first potential hurdle. So say, for example, I drag this out and I've got this dark line down the middle, and I say to myself, well, I don't really want that to be dark, I want that to be light, I want it to wrap around. Well, you can actually go up to here to reverse, little icon here, and that will flip over, going from black to white to white to black. So whichever colors and whichever order they're loaded up, you can reverse it. You can also do this on this little dude that keeps following me around. This is what they call a contextual taskbar. It's fairly new, and if you click on this little icon here, it will do that automatically. So there's a few cool things in the contextual taskbar. If you're a grumpy old Photoshop user like I am, you can turn this off if it gets in your way. You can also move it somewhere else. It does come in handy, I have to admit it. But if you don't want to see it for a while, you can hit these three dots and go to hide bar, and it will disappear for now. Don't worry, it's not gone. You can go back to window, and you can see down the bottom contextual taskbar and bring it back. So I'm trying to get to love this thing, but it does get in the way. So in this, you can also change what type of angle it is. And you can see we've got some funky angled ones, or we've got the radial ones, all that kind of stuff. And they're all up the top here anyway. This one's just a little bit closer to hand. So I'm just going to throw in, I'm just going to do a standard white to black gradient on this side. Awesome. And over here on my layer panel here, you can see it's actually created an adjustment layer with what we call a mask. So it's only going to allow that to apply to that particular area at this point. We'll get into masks later. And now what I'm going to do is create one for each area. So I'm going to go back to my background layer, go back to W for my wand tool, select what I want, where I want my gradient to fit, G for gradient, and in this case I'm going to select this little one here, which is the radial, and drag that out where I expect my hotspot to be. And again, I've got that other problem. It's going to start from whichever is the first color, which in this case is black. I can always hit reverse, and voila, we've got it. So that's pretty cool. While we've got this, do note that there's also some other adjustments we've got in here. So there's a little thing here, and we can actually adjust the drop off for this, which is really cool. We can even change the angle of how our stuff is applied. And if you want to get really picky, you can even change the colors. So I'm actually going to reselect on this can or whatever it is, tube, and I can actually adjust my gradient there. I can adjust my drop off if I wanted to, but if I just click slightly below the line until that arrow turns white, it will actually allow me to add a new color, and I can move that around. Don't like the color, double click on it and you can change that color any way you want. Add another color and you can move these and change the drop off of them. So it's pretty powerful, and again you can switch between all your different things. The thing to check with this as well, if you want to get really deep into this, have a look over on the right. There's a thing called properties panel, and this will change depending on what you've got selected. So if I've got one layer selected, that will give you the properties of that panel. Now ordinarily I wouldn't use this a hell of a lot, but it does have some interesting stuff. So you can change the angle and everything. So it's like 3 different ways you can access the same thing. You can also adjust how your gradient's going to look right here as well. Let's move that a little bit closer so you can change that there, as well as live here as well. The only reason why I want to kind of bring this up is it does have new opacity controls, so you may need to sort of dig in to find those a little bit. They are a little bit clunky, so this again allows you to drop in an area here, and you can see I can actually change the opacity of this, where that is, and the fall off of it. So it's, as I said, it's not compared to the old system, it's a little bit extra of a challenge to get to it, but I do want to let you know that it does exist, and you can make parts of an area transparent or visible depending on how you want to do it. Now I'm sure in the future they're going to make this a little bit more intuitive in the actual bar here, but just know that it's there. So I'm just going to reset that. In fact, I might just delete that altogether and restart. It didn't take me too much time. So W and G and add your gradient. So have a go, see if you can build a nice looking image using that. There's only 1, 2, 3, well, I've lost count already, 1, background 2, inside of that, outside 3, 4 and 5 areas. Use your wand tool, use your gradient tool, and then go in and adjust them. Get it looking great, guys. Alright, we'll catch you on the next one.